Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And this is the final challenge of Street Man Fighter. This is the last dance. This is the big shebang. Cannot wait to get into it. It's definitely bittersweet. I have spent a very long time sitting in this chair reacting to Street Man Fighter. I've had so many hours just watching and analyzing, and now we're here at this moment for the final challenge, and I'm a little emotional, not gonna lie. I think the last challenge, Cheers, I got super teary-eyed with Weedham Boys with their very memory-focused happy routine, and I know that was part of the challenge was to create a happy moment, and I think they definitely did that, and so did everybody else, but that one really stuck out to me. And here I know that with the last dance, it is for the crews to be able to display a routine that really showcases who they are as a crew, and I cannot wait to watch this. I know there was a kind of a text message live-ish kind of performance thing for this, so I'm definitely curious as to how that played a role into the overall rankings, but I will be reacting to these in the order in which they placed. So I would be starting with B2B and finishing with Just-Jerk, who took the championship slot. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Just-Jerk. See, they got the lipstick, reminds me of 2016 Body Rock. Let's go. Oh, this track. That felt like Just-Jerk. It did. You know, I'm at the point with the show too that if I saw, let's say I saw this a couple challenges ago, you know, remember the criteria for this was you have to demonstrate who you are as a crew, and I felt that was pretty close to what Just-Jerk is representative of. You know, just they were able to integrate, I would say, their music editing. I know a lot of you guys said that the track they did for the music Street Man Fighter, they were the ones that made it. So I would say something that really works in their favor is the fact that they can make their own music, would be my natural assumption. I think they made this mashup, possibly. Now, if they did, then what they're able to do is manipulate the music to where there's certain musicality properties about it that people are not going to be expecting because it's a mix that they made that's not on mainstream that people may not have heard. Now, I've heard this song. It's Interstellar, I think, is from like the backtrack ding 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 ding, and I heard this song when I heard a remix done to it. It was by Tokyo Myers. I really admire his work, and he took it and mixed it with Human Rag and Bones. I loved his mix of this. I really love the choices they made here. It felt like them. I felt like a lot of the timbre choices. It felt very like each of the members. I felt like we got to watch Just-Jerk as an elevated version of some of the other instances we've seen. A lot of crews, I do remember at the start of the show, they were like, oh, that footage is too old, why do you keep using it? Notice the material is more space, right? It feels more like we're in space, it matches, but if you pay attention and you look at it, it looks very similar to the type of material they wore for Body Rock. It's just a different color, but it is also a different, you know, different fit, but that kind of material kind of moves similarly. It may not be the exact same, but that's what it reminds me of. And then the lipstick too also reminisce of that. So if anything, I feel like this would be the footage that they could now use for competitions in the future. This was... The build is so nice. The usage of the smoke, I really think like so much of it worked in their favor here. It was just so beautiful. The cleanliness they have, it's just so, it's so admirable. For me, I really like, so whenever I've been reacting to Street Woman Fighter Season 2 before I started reacting to these, sometimes Just Jerk would pop up or Tricks would pop up and they would react to some of the challenges I was reacting to, so I would watch them. And some of Young Jae's feedback really reminds me of how I look at routines too. And that's something I really admire about him in particular. I really enjoy seeing his viewpoint on things. I understand things to a certain extent. Like, he wants his crew to be successful, and I love the fact that he's not doing it alone. Like, he started his crew with his best friend Jaeho, and I love that they're doing life. Like, all of them are doing life in their community, right? And so I really resonate with Young Jae. Now, are the things that I do, or the people I'm with, you know, or like my people, my community, we don't really quite operate like this, but it is really nice. I really resonate with some of how Young Jae approaches choreography or how he works with people. I really understand it and I empathize with it. And so for me, I feel a sense of connection. I've always felt this way about Just Jerk since probably 2013, 2014. I've always, before they even went to Body Rock. Just seeing the... Now, side note, there's a chance that whenever they're showing people in the audience, it could be people they've worked with in the past or are affiliated with them in some way. She looked like somebody from Muse, a Street Woman, and I know for Weedon Boys they showed Aiki, so maybe, forgive me if I'm wrong there, but that would make sense why they would pan to those people. But all of this is a straight remix. This is not a part of the original track, and I love it. It reminds me of Robot Boys from, I think it was Denmark's Got Talent. They're the ones who really started these types of remixes. It was way back in the day. They're not the ones who started it. Jabberwockies, I would say, also, they produce their own beats too. But like this kind of, I don't know, like some of the really, really famous types of animatronic tracks come from the Robot Boys. So it's really nice to hear this. Very clean. And it feels like them. It is different than some of the things that we've seen. Young Jae, even how he's exploring here is different than his approach. I love the stiffness of that. The hinge around to the rebounds. That there, the waving. And he kicks it. I love that boom, and it's so nice how clean it is. And then you can see exactly at what point the body starts to be integrated into the move. And I have said this, I did do a 3 strikes you're out kind of with moves. That is the 4th time I've seen Just Jerk use it, that specific move in a challenge. But remember, I mean, if anything, for this challenge, no better place to put that move than in this routine, because it's a Just Jerk fingerprint if I ever saw one. Now, I've seen so many crews do that, but I don't think I've seen a crew in a competition. Well, I haven't watched these types of competitions very often, so I can't really say this. But I haven't seen a crew do a fingerprint like that in so many pieces. And I love it. And it works every time, but it's something that I always see. But I love where they put it here. It matches, it works. And so I have no qualms. Like, I have 0 issues with every single group's set. And I think that's what I want. That's where I want to be. When you're at a finale, you don't want to look at a crew and go, why are they here? Every crew that we're seeing here is demonstrating who they are beautifully, and it makes me it's very bittersweet that this is the last time I'm going to see them in this context in this specific way. Man, how they come up with Jaeho. Boom. Yep, it's simple. That boom, 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 boom. The technique's not simple, but how they're choosing to hit the music is, you know, it's a simpler pattern. I love it though. And instead of, you know, when they use their arms to swing, so they did just the body with the head, and they added on, and then they use the arms to help make it bigger and progress more. This was so nice. Boom. And they are taking a lot of risks in how they're lunging or how they're extending their body, and boom, over to the other side. So enjoyable. And also note here, whenever you see crews do this, a lot of times they jerk it. And I've said this before, just jerk, when they actually do this move, they do it fundamentally correct, and that's why it looks so captivating. Is sometimes crews overkill it, and it just looks like they're jerking or yanking their arms in a way that feels too overly theatrical and dramatic. Theirs looks properly placed and properly executed, and that's why I really like it when they do it. That is gorgeous, just that little moment. I think the usage of the hand was important to keep the feature where you wanted it to be. Now we got S1. This feels like an S1 part. This was so sick. That little choo. It feels like S1 because he uses a lot of these sounds. One of his most popular choreographies from Urban Dance Camp did involve these types of sounds, and I really like that. It feels like him, but it feels like a different variations or a sequel to S1. That little diddy. I love that. Choo, choo. Oh! This right here reminds me of Body Rock whenever they just go but I like this sequence because it just reminds me, but it's not the same thing. It reminds me in an admiration way as to why I love that this feels like Just Jerk. This feels like them, but it doesn't feel like they're overly repeating fingerprints of what makes them them. It's okay to have fingerprints of stuff. You don't want to over replicate sequences of movement, and I don't think they're quite doing that. There's like one move that I've already talked about, but their aesthetic of who they are as a group is something being very much on the display here, and I'm just very thankful at the fact that I'm able to really see it. Very impressive for the singles, and it just kept going for the longevity of it. So impressive. And then they keep elevating the energy, really picking it up, and I love that they kicked it out on the heat. So nice. With the two groups, really great. I love, and you can tell with the judges, they're really invested too. That 5 and very clean, higher in the energy than what they did before. The pulls into a very complex, I mean, for me, this was not really like super complex, but bringing it down back up, and their outfits really help. You can see their waves more clearly, which can work for you and against you. If your waves are not clean, we can see it. If they are clean, we can see it. So it's the risk, and that's something that not many crews can handle, this type of fabric, when they compete, because you can see everything. And I really love that they're taking ownership. Yeah, that boom, 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 boom. Just the speed changes here, and then they choose to go opposites and all sporadic, and then they, at whichever point they choose, they come back in into unison. They come back in, and they, boom, he pushes out. Luckily, I was able to see the whole thing before the end screens came up. Just the energy of how he chose to explode was just phenomenal. That was wonderful. That was Just Jerk, and it was always a pleasure to watch, react, look through. Every challenge they've done, I've enjoyed, and it's mad kudos to them for the fact that we even have the ability to be that diverse or be able to apply themselves to challenges. It truly is. It's a gift, and it shows how well they operate as a crew, and it makes sense. They are one of the most well-rounded crews you could find in Korea, and I think we really got to showcase that here on Street Man Fighter. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the conclusion of the entire Street Man Fighter series. Wow, we've come so far. This has been a wild ride. I do feel like I may end up, reacting to some battles that I may have missed, because, with copyright and everything, things have just been so sensitive with YouTube lately on my end where I live. And I just feel so privileged at the fact that I have so many of you guys that are really right in there with me, helping me with context of challenges, really helping me understand what I'm looking at outside of just the dancing. It is really helpful, and sometimes having people who know more than just what Mnet that shows you really helps be able to enjoy it with as big of a context as possible. And I really felt like I was able to try to attempt to at least react to some of these things with as much objectivity as possible. But of course, remember, I'm human, so some of my notes throughout this entire series of reactions may have been a little bit, you know, out of pocket. But at the end of the day, do I think that every crew that we saw brought something fabulous to the table in some way, shape, or form? Absolutely. So I feel like the show did its job. We got to showcase some amazing, talented dancers as individuals and as a crew. Thank you guys again for being on this ride with me. As always, I look forward to the discussions for Street Man Fighter and for this challenge. I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.